Hello everyone, it's Mr. Barden here. Today I'm going to be starting a multiple part little video series. In my programming class, we're going to be building a few games and programs that have sound interactivity to them. The kind of two I'm leaning towards are revisiting the old Paint app that we did earlier in the semester, and then doing Pong as well as a game. That may change. We'll see it as we go, but we're going to start with the Paint app at the very least. This is going to be a probably 3-part video, most likely. This first one will be making the Paint app using the P5 Play sprite library and getting that functional. The next one will be all the sound stuff, and then I'm going to add in a few just automation and sequences as well, just for fun. Let's make this a little bit bigger. I forgot I made it kind of smaller. I like it nice and big. Maybe not that big. A little bit bigger just for the sake of the video. Nice and easy to read. All right. So, let's get started, I guess. If we're doing all this, like it, learn, like the content, learn something, definitely consider like, comment, and subscribe, and all the YouTube things. And with that being said, I don't think I have much more preamble, so let's get into this. So, I've put a link in the comments to the original Paint app assignment that I had my students do. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. I've done a little bit of prep work, but not a ton. Mostly things just to make life a little bit easier for the sake of this video. The starting code, as always, will be in the description, so you'll be able to look at exactly what I'm looking at. The first thing I did was make sure that all the libraries I needed were included, that being the main P5.js, tone.js, and then P5 Play, and P5 Play is dependent on Plank, so I've got that in there as well. I've got videos about that all in other playlists and videos and everything. I've gone over it a bunch. I'm not going to break it down now, but I've got all the libraries included. I've also gone ahead and picked the colors I want for this. Again, we're essentially making a version of a simple version of Microsoft Paint. If I just place this here, this is essentially what we're making. I'm going to try to make mine a little bit simpler, but you click and drag and it does the thing. Cool. You can click on another box, change the color, have different things happening. That's what we're essentially going with for this. So I've gone ahead and picked out 12 colors. You all don't have to use these if you don't want to. In fact, I recommend picking colors you like. The only things I'm gonna basically need is a color that's going to match the background color exactly, so I can effectively use it as an eraser. That's kind of our goal here. All the other ones I've selected are pulled from the fairly standard extended list of web browser supported colors, and I've included the name of that right here for each of these, so you can find that if you want to. But I'm going to be using the RGB values instead. So, I've just put all of those in one big array. I've made my canvas bigger and white. And then I've added a few functions that I've labeled them all. You can see them all on the screen here. I'm not going to break them all down. You can pause and read the descriptions if you need to. But just some functions that I know we're going to need. But obviously we're going to set up to work, in this video. So I just got ahead and put them right there. So, let's do this. So I guess the place we'll start. Let's just start by drawing, creating what we need to, to draw the lines on the canvas, this stuff. If I hop in, I'm putting all this in function paint is what I'm calling it, where we'll be able to just call this to draw what we need to draw. So I like to do push and pop just to isolate some of this so we don't have to potentially worry about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the stroke to be something, the stroke weight to be something, and then we're going to draw a line. This line is going to move from the previous mouse X and previous mouse Y locations and end at the current mouse X and mouse Y locations. And what this will do is it will, every frame that we've called this, just draw a super tiny line fragment. And since that's not the right one, since it's happening super quickly, we can get this to follow the mouse, and it looks like that. Woohoo! That's there. We're going to need to change the stroke color as well, but I'm going to add a little functionality from other units and also be able to change the stroke weight. So what we can do is just real quickly let current color equal, and I'm just going to make this black just to be the default. 0, 0, 0. There we are. So I'm going to set that to be current color, and then we'll say stroke weight, or not stroke weight. We'll also make the let's say paint thick. I'll just call it paint thick. And we'll have it default to 2. Why not? And we can then use that to set the stroke weight. Like that. I'm just going to move this up by the other stuff. That's going to do, and we'll just stick that right there. There we are. So now what we can do is just, later on, we can just update the current color and paint thick values to change and make them match here or what we want to do later on. So that's that part pretty much done. We can just call this function and it'll paint when we paint it. We'll set up some rules for that. I guess we'll go ahead and get the paint thickness taken care of as well. So we'll make I'll make 2 things right here. The first one is that paint thickness, so it's gonna be a slider, and I'm also gonna do the make a button as well. So boop boop. The thickness slider. It's going to be create slider. We'll have a minimum value of 1, maximum value of 5, starting value of 2, step size of 1. I think that'll work. There's my slider. 2, 5. Yeah, I think that'll work just fine. So I have that there. We'll map that value to something in a little bit. I'll also make my button while I'm here. So we'll say that this will be export button equals create button. Save your masterpiece. Export button dot. When we click on that button, we will run function export canvas. Right there. So another bit of functionality will be to basically take whatever you've drawn and export that into something else. So we have that there. I want to actually change that order. So we'll put the button stuff before the slider, and that way that'll be here. I like that button being in the corner. Why not? We'll adjust this a little bit as we go. So let's keep working. I'm just kind of going bit by bit. Let's go ahead and get the export canvas stuff and the slider hooked up. So in the draw, this will be simple enough. We can just say that paint thick gets assigned to be the thick slider dot value. I'll have that there, and maybe instead of calling this here, we're going to set the stroke weight up there. We can call this back if we need to, but actually I don't think that'll work as great as I'm thinking it will. So we have that right there. Oop, one thing I forgot. We need to move the draw function to setup. Or not the draw function, but move the canvas background because we want to draw over it. We don't want to cover it up with a new background. Ooh, almost forgot that. Okay, so we'll adjust that part there, and I'm gonna actually reference the tone, the P5 materials because I know that there is a way to do this. Don't remember exactly which larger one it was in, so we're just gonna scroll through until we find it. What was it called? Rendering Creek. I think it's create graphics is what I want. I haven't done this in a little while. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything big. Or probably save canvas. Also pull up create image just in case. Save canvas. So yeah, this is what I want. So basically we just say what we want to save, which canvas, where to save it, any file name and extensions. And that's pretty much that. So let's get this in here. So when we click that, we will just say let this image equal, not create, we want save canvas. We'll do a similar thing here. So let C equal create canvas. We'll export C. We'll save it as my painting, and it'll be a .jpeg. Now, all of these second ones have to be a string. There we are. So if we did this right, and I click the button, we should see it has broken. What did I break? It's because that wasn't done globally. Okay, fine. Do it like this. Tidy that up. Refresh it. So now if I download that, we should get, yep, the completely white canvas saved as a file. So that's there. Looks like there's an extra dot. So let's just remove this extra dot. Just make it JPEG. Yeah, it doesn't need the dot there. So luckily that worked out. So this just exports it, saves all the bits. There we go. So just look at the other ones. That basically means we can, let's see, create a graphic to use in the, in the sketch, which isn't exactly what we want. Create image is another way where it's creating an image on the screen. It's not actually saving it. So yes, we wanted the save canvas function, and that function is done. That functionality is all set up. Now we pretty much have to just add in the bulk of the rest of it. So let's do this. So I'm going to go into function make sprites, and we're going to make some sprites. Now I've got the P5 play reference pulled up, and we're going to hop over to learn. This is in active development, so things keep changing and doing a whole bunch of stuff, but you can click on a lot of this to find things about a sprite, and it'll take you right to that page that you need it for. It's a lot of fun. But we can make a new sprite, and I'm just gonna do that. So let's make a single sprite. Oh, hi, Bean. You're joining me today. Get comfy, but stay away from my keyboard because I'm using it. So what do I want to call this? I'll call it a changer. Why not? Equal. It's going to be a new sprite changer dot width can be. Let's keep it to 50 pixels. Why not? Changer dot. Actually, let's do it like this. I think it'll be fun if instead we made it a circle. Equals 50. Y equals 50. I'm just going to do it like so. Let's just see what that. I don't see. Why don't I see you? I need a refresher. Oh, it's because I didn't actually call the function. um, so we'll call this after the background. So make sprites. There we are. It helps when you actually call your functions. And look, boom, there it is. Cool. Let's see, what else can we adjust? It's just going to be a random color for now. Let's smoosh it over just a little bit. Let's make this 45. 40. I like 40. That's cool. And we can even make this 40 as well. Just scooch it up just a hair. Yes, you saw that screen change and there was a dot on the screen. Oh, yes. Good bean. Good bean. Hi. Okay, so me getting distracted by my cat aside, what I'm gonna do is basically make one version of this that works perfectly, and then we're gonna be converting it into a version that will work with a for loop, so we can make 12 essentially identical things. So let's see now. Changer. So we've set the location. We should now set the color. Changer dot shape color. It is shape color, right? I know these ones change all the time. I say all the time, but these have changed before. It's just color now. Equals, and I'm going to make it equal to the color function, and I'm gonna pull up paint colors position 0. Hopefully this should now be black. Yes. If I refresh it, it's not changing to black. If I change this to 5, now it's this green color, and it's always that green. So what this is going to do is instead of giving it just the name of a color or hard coding the values, it is going to look at the array of all my paint colors, my full palette here, and say, okay, we're going to look at whatever one we give it. In this case, specifically position 0. It's going to take the 3 numbers listed there, and it's going to, there it is, convert it into an RGB color that the color property can look at. That's all that's going on right here. So we have that part there. Cool. Now we can say, let's do this. If changer dot color is equal to specifically this, but the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th, then we should, I want to make it slightly smaller, so 48. I'll start with that. And then give it a black outline. Not stroke. No, it is stroke. Equals. I'm just gonna black, like they have in that example. Just so things don't fight each other. We'll add that push and pop and trying to remove the outline. So if I change this to 12, there we are. Okay, so I've essentially removed the outline. So if I set this to, 5 to get that greenish one again, nope, we got no stroke. Why do we have no stroke? Well, you know what? Rather than do with that too much, we will just say this. We will just say changer dot stroke equals 255. So now it matches the same background, so we get this look. And then when we specifically change it to the white one, why didn't you pop up? If the color is equal to this, then we set the stroke to black. If I just do it as 0, will that... Yep. We'll get the the indigo and then the white. So why aren't you showing up? Okay, we'll probably tweak this. I'm not gonna spend too long looking for that right now. Folks, we need to add one more thing. I'll probably make that a little bit nicer as we go anyways. Again, it's all live, so we're gonna run into issues as we're doing it. So the next thing we need to do, we get all the buttons lined up. I'm gonna make it appear on the screen by actually making it something. Let's not go with that's a bright yellow. Let's make it a little darker of a color. There we go. So the next thing I'll do, changer dot, and this has updated. So we're gonna look under input, and the mouse. Boop, 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 sprite mouse. Here we go. So we just say sprite dot colors. Yes. If sprite dot mouse dot pressing. If pressing, is that a method? Yeah, then we'll do a thing. What we'll do the thing with is we will change the color. That's what we needed to do. So we will run the change color function, and all we'll do, we'll give it the argument, I should say, the desired I'll name this I'll say col, C-O-L. I like that because we got colors, C is used for other stuff, and we're just gonna say that current color, it's assigned to be whatever col is. And then up here, we'll just change it to be changer. There we go. Okay. I think for the most part, that's working. This is probably going to need to be placed in a different spot now that I'm looking at it. So let's put all these sprites in a group. So all of the changers will be a group. Capital C. It's a new group. Here we are, and we'll double check all of this with a group to add it into it. Ooh, we can just do it like this. This is nice. Some of the group stuff was a little less than ideal. So, we could do it like this, actually. Let's just copy you. Oh, wait. Well, I mean, no, we can do it. It's totally fine. We could also just say... Oh, we can make subgroups. That's new. Okay. And we'll do it like they have it here. So we're going to make the group. We'll just make it all kind of a default thing. So you just say dots, dot. Yeah. All right, so let's do it like so. We're going to encapsulate all of this in a for loop. Like so. Let I be assigned 0 as long as I is less than all paint colors dot length I plus plus. So we've got all of that. Equal new all changers dot sprite just by adjusting that. Cool there. Paint colors, we'll set this to be whatever I is to it. We'll make this if I is equal to 12. Then we'll do it like so. I times 40. Copy. Paste, we'll do it like that. If it's equal to 12. Else. We'll do it like that. You getting comfy? Think so? Maybe? Cat. Okay, so I'm just double checking all of the bits. That should match up with that. Okay. We're on the right track. So you notice that they've all kind of bumped into each other and slid around. We don't necessarily want that. So what we can do is hop into our sprites and we can find the part where it's talking about the colliders, the physics. So if they're dynamic by default, um, so we probably want static for setting the collider. Sprite. We just say collider equals static. Yeah. So, static. Now let's refresh that. Cool. So now they're here, but they aren't moving each other. But we do run into a few small issues. So let's basically it just is an issue of spacing. So by increasing this, we can space them out. Boom, just like so. And we're probably going to make this an even 50, 50. And we'll make it actually 55. Why not? Just... Oop, that was the diameter I changed, not the... That should be 50. This should be 55. 55. There we are, however many times the charm. And then we just want to shift everything down. Plus 5. Plus 5. I'm sorry, not plus 5. How did I go into full screen? Okay, what? No. Thanks, Opera Bean. Fuck off. I'm stuck in full screen. I don't know how I got into it. F11. That's what I saw. Okay, there we go. You know, getting edited. If you're gonna just fall off of my table, then no, I don't want you here. Say bye. There we go. Okay. Like I was saying, I wanted to upgrade, but shift all of these down by half the height of the circles, just so they're all on the screen, and we're gonna make this an even 30, just so it's not right on the edge of the screen. There we are. I just think that looks a little more aesthetically pleasing. There we are. And then just a few other things. Again, I made my diameter for the... this should be 50. There we are. I'm just trying to ballpark them and make them about the same size. But with the outline, yeah, that'll work. About the same size there. So again, these don't have an outline, or they do. It's just the same shade as the canvas, but then the white circle needed a black outline so we could actually see what it is we've selected. So that's what we have happening right here. And I just needed to make it a little smaller because otherwise the white circle would look bigger by default. Now what I think we can do is now instead of doing this instead of changer, we can say all changers down here. And I think we may have to change it to this. We'll find out. So I'm going to copy this. And this, because it's a conditional statement, we're going to be checking it over and over again, should happen in the draw function. So we've got that there. And I'm just going to do another conditional statement for the main logic here. So if mouse x is greater than 50... Let's say greater than 80, actually. Give it a little extra room. Then we'll say if mouse is pressed, then we will run function paint. Ooh, come back. There we go. So let's see if this is working. If I click and draw now, we are not getting anything just yet. It is not a valid color representation. Okay. So what if I did change that back to changer? And still not painting. Still doesn't like that. Okay. Why don't you like that? Input. Keyboard, multi-input. We don't want a game controller, so we want a mouse. So if sprite.mouse.pressing, then we set the color to be that. So they're already in there. We just need a way to look at its color property and change and save it. And it's just sprite.color. So if I just made it a color, still getting. So we don't know which sprite we're clicking. It's not a valid color representation. So what if instead we just do it like this and just put it all locally and just get rid of function paint. And then change color. Oh, wait. What if I just said, no? How can I talk to a specific sprite in our group? Okay, I can just specify, I don't know the number. Indexed. Okay, wait. The I is the index of the sprite in the group, which is given as an input parameter to group property functions. Subgroups we don't need. Maybe. All sprites we'll need a little later. Group overlap we don't care about. That just makes a... How can I do this? So I've got them all making different colors. We just need to save it. That inherits X position. So I'm just trying different things. Yeah. And we're just getting rid of that and just doing it here. So doesn't like that. So what if equals sometimes things can be weird like that. Nope, still doesn't like that. Also, don't know why I'm not drawing anything. Oh, it's because it should be mouse is greater than 80. There we go. And then we click, and it's supposed to change, and then it doesn't, and then it crashes. So, huh. What if all changers I ah, I is not defined. Dang. I was hoping it would because of how it worked out here. What if I did this? Changer dot number equals I. We'll just say all changers dot. We'll say the current color equals all, or say paint colors. But specifically all changers dot number. So that part works. Ah. Okay, let's start just let's now pull up the console.log current color. I'm just gonna put this all the time in the draw function. So as soon as I click over here, goes to be undefined. So why? I'm going to do a little bit of research. I'm going to pause the recording and come back because this is super riveting stuff, I'm sure. Okay. Okay, I think I'm back. It looks like I'm back on the recording screen. So, I figured it out. Took me longer than I thought it would, but once I figured out exactly what the issue was, it was relatively simple to do. So, what was happening beforehand was I was talking to the whole everything here. I was looking at the group stuff and being like, oh, I can just, set the, talk to all the groups. But what it's doing is it's setting this property for the group itself, where we need to talk to the individual sprite, not the group. So the group doesn't have a defined color like we have here, because that would make them all the same color. We've changed it to individually be different for each sprite. So we have to format it a little bit differently than how the help stuff is telling us to format some of these things. We have to go through and talk to every sprite individually and say, hey, were you clicked? If so, make, do all the bits. And I've set that up right here. So, these 3 lines are all it really needed for it to work. So if you're reading through the P5 Play reference material, which I highly recommend if you're doing anything with it. Again, it's new and under development, and things have changed in the 2 months since I've done a lesson on this. But what we're doing is, if you go through that, you'll notice that all groups are arrays, and I think it says it right up here. You can access a sprite in a group by index because groups are arrays. You can use any of the standard JavaScript array methods on a group. And that's what kind of keyed me in on what I needed to do. So, there's a JavaScript method called for each, and I've set that up right here. And actually, I'm going to change it from element to E to just make it less typing. Because there we go. You see that a lot. And what I've done is we say for each, we're going to just do a quick little function. This function has, no anything else. It's just a function, no name, no anything. And what that's going to be is for every array or every object in the all changers group or array, we're going to say if this one, E, now stop pressing is true like we were doing before, then we're going to set current color to match this sprite's color. E. That was the key. That's where I was typing this and trying a bunch of different things. Wasn't quite working out well. That's because I was talking to the whole array rather than the individual array. And as you can see down here, once I got a line to change, now it's working beautifully. Let's make an orange in here. Cool. So now that's doing all of the bits. I'll scroll through here. I didn't make many changes, but I've, just in case I missed something I talked about before that I've tweaked just a little bit during that pause. I'm just going to slowly scroll through this so you can make sure your sketch matches mine during that whole, unexpected bit. And now we're down back at the end. So, at this point, we're almost there. I wonder, since I've already set that up, can I do this? I don't know if this will change. If I make that thicker, that makes that line thicker. Versus... Okay, so that part is working. However, I don't want it to make the outlines thicker and change the sizes of the circle. That's not what I want. So, Is there a this dot stroke weight? If not, there should be. So see this dot stroke, but changing. Well, let's just check and see. Um, Actually, part of this. Yeah, I'll be redundant. I'll put it in all the bits. Hey, look, there we are. There is. So, super tiny line, super thick line. We've got all that there. So by manually setting the stroke weight while things have been pushed and popped means it won't fight down below. What I'm gonna do to make that a little less redundant is take all of this stuff that's being repeated. I'm going to set that outside of this conditional. So that way we just don't have to repeat all of the code several times. It just makes it a little easier on everything. There we go. Easier to read, easier to perform all the bits. So now if we just do, there's some stuff. Click to save the masterpiece. Prints it out. Let's just look at it. There it is, wonderfully. There's a few things I want to fix, however. The first is I think I may want to add an extra color just so there's, it takes up the whole thing. So let's do this. See this. Let's add something more on this red and orange scale. So I'm just gonna web colors. This is literally how I picked them before, was just scrolling down to here and finding some ones I liked. So let's go with this dark red. 139.00. We'll stick that right here. So that should be there. 139.00, and that is dark red. This should now be increased to 13. And we should now see a second red. It did not like that, because I forgot a comma. There we go. Now that just looks a little more aesthetically pleasing to me to have that happen right there. So, going back to that image, do I still have it pulled up? No, I don't. It's okay. You'll notice there was still stuff happening while I was moving that slider. Didn't really like that. Also, all of these dots appeared all the time while we clicked, while it was exported. Didn't quite like that either. So, let's hop over to right here. So, what we can do is say we're only going to change this value, or we're not going to draw anything inside and outside of certain boundaries. And I've already got some of that right here. So if the mouse is greater than 80, then we're going to draw. So we can draw over here, but as soon as we hit that point, it's not going to draw here, and that's just so we don't start drawing over all of our wonderful circles. But we can do the same thing vertically speaking, so that way we don't draw over when we're setting that. So if we say if mouse's x is greater than 80 and mouse y is less than height minus, let's just say 20. So I could manually do the math, but let's just see that. So if we click down, then it's going to stop. It should have stopped. Why didn't we stop? Oh, that's because I should have been mouse Y. So now, if I scroll down so we see the whole thing, we're drawing, it cuts out. and there it cuts out. So now if I draw this a lot bigger, it still is cutting out there, so that way we're no longer getting that extra bit that's popping up. And we could fine tweak this. This could probably be a little, let's say 15. A little closer. If I make this thicker, yeah, at the maximum, we're still not. Oh yeah, still not drawing on the screen. Anyway, that'll work for this. The next one, I'm gonna head back over to sprites, and we need to set the visible property to a thing. So what we can do is I want my sprites to disappear when I click this button. Then we export it, and then they can reappear later. So let's do that. So if I said all sprites dot visible equals false, that's there. We're then going to export the images, and all sprites dot visible equals true. So we're going to make them disappear, save the image, make them reappear. And if we refresh this, I'll draw a wonderfully not great smiley face in that dark red. And if I've done this right, we should see. I'm going to save that image, open it up, and it did not work. Okay. Well, that was worth trying. That was what I would have started with. So let's hop back in, look at the all sprite group. It's just a group that contains all the things. All sprite. Yeah, we should just be able to set the properties for all the sprites. I mean, it's not the end of the world. All sprites. What if I did it like this? Dot x equals negative 100. All sprites dot x equal 40. Let's you know what? Let's make the x parameter a variable. Just so we can just refer to it by name, make our life a little bit easier. So instead of hard coding of 40, it'll just be the palette position dot x equals palette position. Let's just see now if that works. Woo, okay, I've drawn something. No, they're still there. It's because... Why is that? And it's just called all sprites with... Yeah, it's just all sprites. Huh. Well, okay. Again, not the end of the world, but I would have liked for that to work. But it's okay. We can keep that on there. Again, not the end of the world. So I think the last thing I want to do is to create some kind of indicator as to what color you have selected. I think that's the last thing I want to do. And I think I can do it like this. I'm going to do some testing. So, let test sprite. There we go. I'll do it after the canvas. sprite. Actually, no, I'll do this in make sprites because that makes more sense. So after the for loop, test sprite is a new sprite. This PRITE, and we'll give it 0, comma. Actually, no, I'll just put it right in the middle of the canvas for now. Right, divided by 2, and actually I'll make it really big. Interesting. Maybe not quite that big. There we are. Okay, just so it's there. What if I said... yeah, so what we'll do is that, and then test sprite dot stroke. Make it kind of thick. Right, dot stroke. If I can type, equals current color. So if this works, current color should already exist as a default to be black. Not, it cannot read. Okay, I've never run into that error before. I will make it just. If I said, we'll just turn that into a color like this. Will this? Okay, yeah. So that works. And then if I click here, we should see the outline change. We did not see the outline change because we only set it one time. So we can copy this. And we can just say, put it again down here, because there's only one sprite where we know by name. We don't have to go through a whole bunch of figuring all that out. So we can just say that, and then when we change the first color, we can just make the second one match. No? That works. They're still not changing it. Why are you not changing? Because I wanted to change the outline and then blow up the sprite to match up. So basically the outline of everything would change to match up with your color. Now, what if I put it here? Maybe that's where I goofed. I thought it was in the wrong section. Alright. So, it's changing. Ah, okay, yeah, that's where it is. Looks like we actually don't even need this one anymore. Of how that changed, so remove that, and yeah, nothing changes. So, this is what I was going for. That function I forgot to erase kind of confused me for a second, but now what I'm going to do is just make this sprite much bigger than the other ones. So let's see, we'll make the whole thing is there. So if I make it go, start with 400 by, ooh, not 40,000, 400. So we got that there. 800. So that starts making some weird things happen. And I don't know what is going on with that. when I make it big, oh, it's because it's getting offset by it's colliding with these sprites. If we set it to static, then it should just do that. We gotta make it just a hair smaller. In all directions. Made it 5 pixels to match that. Why is this no longer working now? Is it because it's on top of the other sprites? There we go. So yeah, that part was kind of weird, but apparently, if the big sprite is on top of the other sprites, then it's gonna block you from clicking on them, which I guess makes sense when you think about it. But I just wasn't expecting that, because I had set the collider to basically not be there. But okay, I can work with that. So at this point, everything for the game base for what we're doing next has been created. So we have basically built the program from the ground up using the newest version of P5 Play. Again, just to briefly reiterate everything that I've done over the past hour, not including that time I took a research break, I've got all the colors I want right here. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, including white, which the white is just set up to effectively act as an eraser. So if I put a whole bunch here and then click the white, we can make it a little thicker to speed it up and then erase things. So that's effectively why that's there. Cool. Made some global variables. I may tidy up this section, but they're there. And then in the setup function, I've just given the canvas a name. Doesn't really matter. That's only so we can export it at the end. I've made a group, and then I've set up the buttons and sliders, and then we're making all of our sprites. The first thing I did I guess that was actually the last thing in the code, but making this sprite right here, and we're essentially just changing the stroke of the sprite, so that way it matches up with whatever we have selected, so that way you can easily tell what you are about to draw, because there's no real undo button. And then to export, I'd just click on the white to get rid of that border altogether. That's there. And then I've got this big for loop that's making all of these circles. So we're just adding them, directly into the group, and basically saying, hey, if it's the white one, make it a little smaller and give it a black outline. Everything else, then we're not. And then these are all the properties that are the same for all of them. So I set all of that up. Actually, I don't even think I need... No, wait, I do need that. Kind of. So we've got all that set up, and I've just done it in push and pop. I'll leave it as it is, just so that way it wouldn't fight with the other stuff that we're drawing. The draw function has most of the rest of this. And basically what we have to do is every frame we need to say, hey, are we clicking on a sprite? One of these, and if so, what are we going to do? Well, what we're going to do is change whatever the current color is and change what the outline of that transparent sprite is so we can see it. Then I've just set up the actual drawing part, and then I've just added a few little rules so that way we're not drawing over the circles or getting in the way of the slider and button down here underneath our canvas. Notice, again, these are outside of the canvas, so they aren't appearing in the pictures that we're drawing. The canvas stops right there. And again, if I wanted to make that a different outline and did this, The new file has that green outline. So again, just be aware if you don't want an outline on your pictures, click on the white one and that'll go away. That's all right there. And then the last part is just making sure that, setting that slider value to match the thickness. I guess really, we'll just leave it like this to avoid issues. And then the export is just saying, hey, we're going to save this file, this canvas as a file, and you can change the names and everything right there. That's the end of this part. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about what you can expect coming forward from this. So, like I mentioned, the starting code is available in the description. I'm not going to post the finished one until the entire thing is finished. So there's going to be most likely 2 more videos where we're going to keep working on this. The next one will be adding in the sound features of this larger scale sketch, and then just a little bit of interactivity for automating that in a third video. At the end of the third one, I'll share all of that. But for my students, this is kind of a multi-day thing. So the first portion is getting this up and running. The second is adding the sound, and so on. So there's different assignments for each of those. So I'll give the full version at the end of that final video. If you need a little more information about anything I've mentioned, I've got links to different playlists about the various libraries that have been popping up all, at the top of the screen throughout. And you'll see another one on the end screen that'll be helpful if you want to learn, again, a bit more information about all of this, as well as links to the textbook and various reference pages that we looked at. You'll find all of that right there. This is where I'm going to wrap it up for today, and I'll see you very shortly in the next video where we were adding the sounds to this. But if you only came for making a Paint app with no sound, then that's great, awesome, and I'll see you the next time that I see you. Bye.